we can make. Got a blank Ableton project and I have the samples already in. I've already checked them out. There's not a lot in there, which is good because that means my track's likely going to be completely different from everyone else's. So I'm going to focus on the idea first. A basic 4-bar loop, maybe an 8-bar loop. I'm going to just use the top drums for now, just because they're quite nice, and then we can possibly change them out later. So I'm just going to throw in some basic drum elements. Just going to level everything, so the kick is the loudest element at -6 dB, and then I will put a ozone preset on the master, some sort of master preset to make everything sound a little bit better, and then I'll change that at the end. This is my go-to preset. Just make sure that we're not distorting too much. Get my colour code on because I'm an OCD freak. Just going to group these for the time being as well, for when I decide to add the bass and other drum elements. Don't forget to save your projects. All I'm doing here is just pushing the clap to be a bit wider. It's only a very subtle difference. Yeah, too much. Just trying to add a little bit of swing to this, just simply by moving a couple of these a little bit off the grid. It's subtle, but it's fine. Keep it. That top loop is quite nice. Right now with what I've only added a clap and a shaker and a kick obviously, but I mean, it's so simple, it just works. So start at the track groove, a bit more energy. One other thing I like to put on my master is just a quick utility plugin, just so I can easily turn the mono off, and just as I'm going through the track make sure that the mono compatibility is decent. If there's any glaring issues at the start, I'll either swap the sound out or try and fix it or get rid of it completely, just because I've got throughout a song where I've made the entire thing and comes down to mono compatibility and it's loads of phasing issues and it's just a nightmare to try and fix. This is part of my workflow now where I'll be like checking the mono compatibility as I'm going. I mean, all we've got at the moment is drums, so it should be pretty straightforward, but it's a good thing for me to add and get ready for the project moving forward. No problems, so we'll keep moving. I'm going to add a ride. Another thing I'm going to put on the master channel is span. I can visually see all the frequencies that are in the song currently. As you can see, we've pretty much hit what I want to hit for the high range. This part's fine being empty because we've got no bass or melodic elements in there yet. The high end is pushing a little bit further than the kick, and normally what I try and do, I try and keep them to pretty much at the same level. The high end a little bit lower than the low end. To be honest, I need to set up the template just so I don't have to do this every time, but I've just not got around to doing it yet. What I like to put on the drum group, a couple of audio effects such as EQ for a start. Let's get rid of any low end that might be in there. Another thing I try and put on, the glue compressor, because what I'm trying to do is just make all these sounds more together. And what I'm trying to do as well is make sure that the output sound or volume is the same as what it was before. So I can see here we're hitting around minus 3 dB. Again, this one's very subtle, but it's making the open hats and the closed hats just sound a bit louder without actually giving it any volume, so I'm going to keep that on for now. I may revisit this anyway when it comes to the final mix down of the track, but for now it's fine whilst we're getting the idea together. Okay, so now I'm going to play with that vocal. Just level it quickly. First thing is, this is a very popular song. I want to not completely change this vocal, but I want to make it my own. So I'm going to mess around with cutting it up, reversing it, sticking some effects on it, and just seeing what I can come up with. Don't like those sounds, so they're getting cut out. Not bad. Timing's slightly off. So already we've got something a little bit different. So we would have had this. And now we have... I think it's still recognisable for what it is, it's just that it's a different rhythm, different melody as well. But what I don't want to do is completely discard this. I feel like I might be able to have the two together, so I'm going to try and figure that out now. That break definitely helps it. I think what it also needs is a tiny little bit of reverb, because right now it just stops. I feel like if we had a reverb tail there, that could blend very nicely. So let's do that. Okay, let's go back to the sample pack. Let's listen to it with some of these basses. That's me getting a copyright strike. What I like about this, I like the whole thing, it's so bouncy, but I don't want to use the whole thing. One part that stands out to me, kind of bass roll. Did it? I might take this bit out and see what I can do with it. The first thought that's coming to my head is like a rolling bass, but that might be too much. Yeah, not right. I think using this in places with a different bass could be really cool, and they still keep some of the vibe of the original song, but also not using too much of it, so it is different and it is mine. weird. Sticking Echo Boy on any sound will just make something sound mad. I think what I'm going to do is add another bass line first. This is what I'm like when it comes to the ideas phase. I'm just constantly thinking what I can do to this, what I can do to this, and then I end up moving on to the next thing. But like I'll remember those ideas in the future. Right now, what I need is a solid fundamentals. So in tech house, it's always going to be the kick and the bass. Up to a basic preset for now whilst I'm doing the pattern. Ooh, that could be nice. I need to pick a scale because let's look up there. Because I have no music theory. Might work. Let's find out. How's it work with the vocal? I think what might be cool in this part, because these two hit at the same time, is if we actually like down tuned this part into a different note just to match this. It's going up, whereas in the bass it's going down. I think that's just the same note, but that could work. Quite like it being the same, so let's keep it like that. Just tiny little changes to the vocal, again trying to make it my own, and yeah, let's get in there. Let's keep going with it. Adding that there makes it kind of glide back down. It's quite nice to add those kind of things now and then, just to change it up slightly. Might work better on the second one, but could even work going up. Let's try a full octave up. It's interesting. Might not be right, but the idea could work elsewhere. Going. I'm gonna have two separate channels now for the bass, so I'm gonna use this preset. Sine is the way to the sub frequencies for this, and then have another channel for the mid frequencies, just so I've got more control over those elements when it comes down to the final mix down. I'm also gonna just check out how this looks. In terms of power, you can see that these are all quite close together, but I'm going to put in some very light compression just so you can see here that they're a bit closer together and it's a bit more consistent in power. Some are a little bit lower, some are a little bit higher. I just want to make sure that they're all at the same kind of level and consistent. So you can see the sub bass is just hitting minus 12 dB. Before now looking at it without it on, it's jumping a little bit with the compressor on. It's a little bit more consistent. With this bass shot, I'm actually going to see what it sounds like without the lows in it, and then potentially move that back over to the sub bass and just use this more as a bass stab and let the sub worry about the sub frequencies of this bass. Just again, all more consistent in the low area. Just got to make sure the notes are the same as the stab. That's 120. Let's get rid of you, make you 120, and then the two bass lines are going to conflict in theory. So all I'm doing is, it originally was the tube, I've gone to X Shaper, Edit A, and then you can add whatever you want here and just go mental and you'll get some mad sound. But that's way too much for what I want. Okay, so it's quite a nice groove here. Happy with the bass line, happy with what we're doing here. Still think we can maybe do a little bit more, maybe have some weird effects on the bass. But yeah, it's a good start. So I'm gonna leave it there for now. I'm tired, it's 11:30, I need my sleep. We'll keep working on this. Hopefully it doesn't get copywritten. I'm not getting any YouTube money yet, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, thank you for watching, I'll see you next time.